If you're a retiree, chances are you're feeling the pressure of taxes eating into your hard-earned savings. Between required minimum distributions, capital gains taxes, and rising rates, it can feel like Uncle Sam is taking more than his fair share. And let's face it, when you're trying to make retirement savings last, every dollar counts. But here's something you might not have considered. What if there's a way to reduce your tax burden, secure your financial future, and make a lasting difference in the world all at the same time? It may sound too good to be true, but it's not. In today's show, I'll introduce to you a strategy that lets you redirect those tax dollars to causes and people you care about while still keeping your retirement on track. It's a way to turn your tax frustrations into something meaningful. So stick around. This could be the solution you're looking for. Welcome to Retirement Rescue Weekly, where we throw a lifeline to your financial future. This podcast is dedicated to helping rescue retirees from potential dangers that appear in retirement. I'm Kurt Arnold, your host and financial advocate. I'll guide you through the stormy seas of retirement. We'll tackle inflation, taxation, market volatility, and healthcare costs. Together, we'll secure your retirement. Tune in and start your rescue mission today. Well, hello and welcome to another edition of Retirement Rescue Weekly. I am Kurt Arnold, your host and advocate. It is good to be coming to you today. We are under 7 days until Christmas, so hopefully you're making your preparations. Hopefully you've done your shopping and maybe even your wrapping. And for me, we're actually doing our final countdown and making sure we get to watch all the different Christmas movies we like and listening to a lot of Christmas music as well. So it's a fun time. And this is the time of year where we're in the mode of thinking about gifts. And this also is a time where a lot of people can actually take advantage of gifting strategies to help lower the tax bill so that we actually will give less to Uncle Sam and give more to those things that we really care about. So we're going to talk about some things today to help you be aware of some things that are available, when they're available, and how they might be advantageous for you if you're trying to reduce your tax bill. So let's get into today's show. Today's show is Retirees Strategic Giving in Retirement, as far as how we can actually look at some ways to help with our giving strategies. And as we always do, we like to start with a quote. This is an anonymous quote, so this person didn't want to take credit for it, but generosity, the habit of giving freely without expecting anything in return. And obviously there are some really good ways that we can give without the expectation of being able to benefit from it too. But there are some ways we can use it to help take advantage of some tax strategies then. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use a fun holiday theme. This is kind of fun to actually put this together today. You're going to see a lot of different clips, and that's going to help point out some different things to think about as far as gifting and different ways we can gift. And then when we get to the end of that, we'll kind of swing back and kind of break it down more into more detail. So let's take a look at this.
Hey. Oh. Hey.
Oh. Clark, what's wrong? Honey? It's bigger than you expected? Smaller? What is it?
It's a 1-year membership in the Jelly of the Month Club.
Oh, God.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
That it is, Edward.
The joy of giving. But before you hand over the big bonus, let's make sure your gifting strategy isn't all tinsel and no tree. Does your holiday giving feel like a last-minute rush? Just like this family sprinting through the airport? Slow it down. A thoughtful gifting plan can ensure you can give without creating future tax headaches. Remember, you can gift up to $17,000 per person tax-free in 2024, $34,000 as a couple, smart and stress-free.
Oh, it was beautiful. I could hardly wait to try it out.
Now, 529 plans are for tax-free growth and withdrawals for qualified education expenses. So what if your grandchild doesn't need funds to help pay for education costs? Well, a new rule actually allows you to roll over unused 529 plan funds into a Roth IRA in the name of your grandchild, which gives them a good kickstart to their own retirement savings.
And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Want to give and feel your heart grow 3 sizes? Donating appreciated assets like stocks can support causes you care about and save you from paying capital gains tax. Now, donating appreciated stocks to charity are for a double benefit. They'll help you lower your taxable income and allow you to give more to the actual charity that you desire.
Sure. You go on home and talk about it to your wife.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah, then in the meantime, I'll draw up the papers.
All right, sir.
Okay, George?
Okay, Mr. Potter. No, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. I don't need 24 hours. I don't have to talk to anybody. I know right now. And the answer's no. Doggone it. You sit around here and you spin your little webs and you think the whole world revolves around you and your money. Well, it doesn't, Mr. Potter. In the whole vast configuration of things, I'd say you were nothing but a scurvy little spider. And that goes for you, too. And it goes for you, too.
Sometimes the best gifts aren't wrapped in a box. Paying a loved one's medical bills or housing costs directly can be a game changer, and it's tax-free. So direct payments for medical or educational expenses are another way for tax-free giving.
You are indeed. Step this way, Mr. Cratchit, please.
It's only once a year, sir. It won't be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
I'm sure you will. Well, we won't beat about the bush, my friend. I'm not going to stand this sort of thing any longer, which leaves me no alternative but to raise your salary. I haven't taken leave of my senses, Bob. I've come to them. From now on, I want to try to help you to raise that family of yours. If you'll let me.
Don't wait for a life-changing moment to plan your legacy. Trust and other estate tools allow you to share your wealth thoughtfully, ensuring your gifts last long into the future. Now remember, trusts give you more control while you're living and after you pass, allowing you to decide when and to whom the gifting goes to, causing fewer headaches for your heirs.
First prize? Oh well, this commercial dog is not going to ruin my Christmas. I've killed it. Oh, everything I touch gets ruined. I never thought it was such a bad little tree. It's not bad at all, really. Maybe it just needs a little love.
Remember, even small gifts can grow over time. Whether it's monthly contributions to a savings account or small gifts to loved ones, consistency matters. Again, remember, small intentional gifts today equals a thriving future tomorrow.
Let's have a listen in.
When you're sleeping, he knows if you're awake.
He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Hey! Watch out! You better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Just a little more!
Gifting doesn't have to be solo. Involve your family in charitable decisions or multi-generational planning. It can turn the season into a gift that keeps giving for everyone. Now, family gifting allows you to have other input from other family members, including picking different charitable organizations, more meaning and less stress.
I'm just trying to get through the holidays.
Get through? Christmas is the greatest day in the whole wide world.
Please stop talking to me.
Uh-oh. Sounds like someone needs to sing a Christmas carol.
Go away.
Best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
Thanks, but I don't sing.
Oh, it's easy. It's just like talking, except louder and longer, and you move your voice up and down.
I can sing, but I just choose not to sing. Especially in front of other people.
Well, if you sing alone, you can sing in front of other people. There's no difference.
Actually, there's a big difference.
No, there isn't. Wait. I'm singing. I'm in a store and I'm singing. I'm in a store and I'm singing.
Hey! There's no singing in the North Pole.
Yes, there is.
No, it's not.
We sing all the time.
No, it's not.
Especially when we make toys.
Well, maybe not singing, but a well-planned gifting strategy can spread cheer for generations to come. Want to unwrap yours? So obviously some fun Christmas classics in that video. Personally, my favorite, I love watching Home Alone 1 and 2, Christmas Story, and of course National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I think we could probably recite a lot of the lines. Actually, fun fact, Christmas Story movie actually was filmed partially in Cleveland. There's actually a house that's actually the real house. You can actually tour. We did that a few years ago as a family. So we got to see the BB gun, You'll Shoot Your Out Kid, and then the lamp, which is a major award. You can actually see it in the window. So we actually had some really fun pictures. And obviously, as we're walking through the house, remember different scenes that the characters were in. And then Home Alone, obviously, amazing, great soundtrack, great actors. Obviously, if it was done today, it would be basically a text message, "Mom, you forgot me at home," and it's all over. So. But let's go into more details now about why giving is an important strategy. So obviously, it helps us align our financial goals with our personal values. There's a lot of people that are passionate about different things. You know, my family, we've helped Salvation Army, Red Cross, United Way. We've done different things to help with rescue dogs, as you probably heard a lot about. Obviously, with my daughter, we do some things to help with her health condition as well. So it gives you a way to help those things that need help. And in doing so, reducing taxable income and estate taxes. And it leaves a meaningful legacy for family and communities. So it's not just, pass away, money goes here and there. It gives you a chance to really leave your mark, which for a lot of people is very important. Help support causes retirees deeply care about. I know I've had some different clients that were very passionate about different things. One in particular was very important that they wanted to support the local arts. Obviously, local arts was always one of those things that doesn't get a lot of funding, a lot of support. And so they want to make sure that they had funding to help make sure they had all the things they needed to continue to be successful. So let's look at gifting amounts then. IRS guidelines, the annual gifting exclusion, if you're just going to give a gift to someone, is $17,000 per person in 2024. So you don't have to report a gift as far as your taxes. Now, if it's a married couple, it's $34,000. And of course, you can actually do a lump sum. There's some limits for that as well. Your lifetime gift exemption is about $13 million. So quite a bit. It allows for larger gifts without some tax consequences, and it is a way to get assets out of your estate so we can reduce that estate size so we can prevent some estate taxes as well. Qualified Charitable Donations, QCDs. This is one of those ones that there is an age that we have to know about. So this is one that begins at age 70 and a half. Now, before the Secure Act 1.0 and 2.0, it used to be that the RMD age was 70 and a half, and it was the same age as QCD. So they were kind of in tandem. Now the RMD age is got moved back to 72, and now it's 73 or 75, depending on your date of birth. So these actually start ahead of RMDs. But what it does is allow you to have a direct transfer of funds from an IRA to a qualified charity. So what's the advantage of that? We actually, that money isn't going to be counted as taxable income. So if you have a $20,000 amount you want to send directly to a charity, it's not $20,000 and then it gets taxed, and then whatever else is left over goes to the charity. It's $20,000, and then also for you, it lowers your taxable income because this doesn't get counted. It's stacked on your taxable income. So you must be 70 and a half to start this, though, and there's an annual limit of $100K with some inflation adjustments on that. Again, it excludes from your taxable income. So if you do have an RMD that has to come out, say $25,000 has to come out, and you don't need the income because you got Social Security and pensions, sometimes this is a way to reduce that taxable income if you don't need it. And you can actually send that RMD directly to a charity, like $25,000 directly to a charity. They get $25,000, you reduce your taxable income, and two sides are happy here. So it's simple to do. It's very easy to do, and a lot of the nonprofits and 501(c)(3)s are aware of this. Some of them aren't even aware, so you might want to even just ask. So know it's simple to do, and then also you can't claim additional charitable deductions, only IRA. So it's got to be coming from the IRA to do this. Donor advised funds, DAFs. This is something that you create a giving account, and it's managed by a sponsored organization. Donors recommend grants to charities over time. So this is an immediate tax deduction. So sometimes you might use this if we're trying to do some tax planning. We might do this to kind of lower our taxable income by doing a donor advised fund, and that money comes out right away, comes off your taxable income right away, and then you can distribute the funds to charities later on. So it doesn't have to be immediately to the charity. It just goes into this donor advised fund. It's invested, and later on you can decide where you actually want it to go, or it can be immediate too, but you can actually have this money invested without the tax impact, and then actually later on decide, I want it to go to this organization, I want it to go to this organization. And this is one of those things where you might even get your family involved too, as far as where it goes. So obviously we can deduct up to 60% of our AGI for cash contributions and up to 30% for appreciated assets. Obviously it gives us some timing that we can do this. So if we need to do it now, we can do it now. If we have appreciated assets, that's where it's very advantageous to do that. There are some fees to managing a donor advised fund, and then obviously once the funds are in the donor advised fund, you can't take it back. So you got to be sure that this is the right strategy for you. Private philanthropy. This is where you might create a charitable foundation. Now I talked about it earlier. The couple that actually was really big into local arts, this is one of the things they did, is they created a foundation to basically continue to support the local art scene way past their life. So their funds were going into this as a tax strategy now, and then when they passed away, there was still going to be these ongoing funds going to the local art scene. So it's a private organization established to manage the large charitable gifts. This is a bigger place. If you have a lot of assets, this is something you might consider. Gives you more control over how the funds are distributed. Potential to involve the family in this. This is something where it could be really fun to have different family members. You kind of teach them as you're doing it, so we can understand, why we are doing this way and the impact we're having in the community by doing it as well. So it gives you a chance to do some really cool legacy things, not just giving money, but also teaching the importance of helping the community. It does require a lot of assets to do this, and there is some administrative oversight, so sometimes these are difficult. So here's an example. The Millers, they create a foundation with $1 million to fund local scholarships, and they use their grandchildren to help with some of the grant-making decisions. So this is one where the grandparent really wanted to teach the grandkids, the why of what they're doing, and then help them actually pick different investments that they're going to do, or where it's going to go and include that in that stuff. There's something that they're really was important to them. They could actually have a say in that. So it's a family thing. It's a legacy thing. So it's another way to kind of help with tax reduction as well. Trust. There's a lot of different trusts. Sometimes people think of trust as only an estate planning thing. Just charitable remainder trusts or CRTs. It's a way to get assets out of your name, out of your estate, and then it allows you to create some income generating for the donor during their lifetime. So if we have highly appreciated assets, stocks, real estate, that's where we can avoid some capital gains in this strategy. We get some tax deductions and we get to avoid some capital gains. So instead of paying Uncle Sam, we donate to a local charity. So if you hear about Jeff Bezos with Amazon, people like that, Warren Buffett, these are the kind of things they're doing when you hear them giving a lot to the local community and charity. They're doing something like this to get a tax break as they do it too then. So, and the way these are complex to set up, but they're very effective. I've done it for some clients where we're trying to, if they're trying to sell a house in a different state where they moved from, and they don't get any deductions on that, it's highly appreciated. This is a way we can also help them avoid those capital gains tax, which could be 15, 20% of whatever the gain is on the growth of that asset then. So it's a very effective strategy. There's also ways that, the problem with sometimes with the CRTs is you kind of accidentally disinherit your kids because you're creating income for you. So one of the ways you can kind of tie it with this is something that we call an ILIT, or an irrevocable life insurance trust. So basically what it does is when that income comes out, then it just goes into a life insurance policy that pays out beneficiaries tax-free. So it's a tax benefit for your legacy as well. So an example here, the Zimmers sell their second home. They use the CRT to avoid those capital gains and get those tax deductions, which they use for other things for tax planning purposes. They direct that CRT income into an ILIT for a tax-free benefit for their children and grandchildren then. So very effective if you know how to do it. It's a great way to make sure you can avoid capital gains taxes, which a lot of people, when I talk to them, they complain about that because they didn't realize how big the hit was going to be when they sold their house or whatever it was. So it's a great way. If you work for a company that had a stock purchase plan, sometimes you might hold that stock for quite a while. You might have some highly appreciated stocks. So it's another thing to think about when it comes to that. Gifting before you're passing. Sometimes it's you want to actually see the impact and be part of that before you pass away. So there's ways that you can give assets to family or charity while you're alive. It's a way to reduce your taxable estate. If we're worried about those taxes on the estate, the Tax Cut and Job Act is going to sunset at the end of 2025. And that is supposed to have that number go down as far as what our taxable estate number is now, which could be around 5 or 6 million. So if you're above that, this might be something you might want to get started with some gifting earlier. And again, it allows you to see the impact of your gifts. So if you want to actually see the organization or the people, taking advantage of some of those things, if you want to see your grandkids go to college, if you want to see the local animal shelter be able to benefit from much needed funds, this is where you can actually see it while you're still living. So why should you consider some of these strategies? Again, the goal of this is we're trying to tie the financial planning in with our heartstrings. So lowering our taxes now and in the future. It's going to help you with meeting personal and family goals. Whatever is really important for your family allows you to do this in a way that's going to help others and not just give it to Uncle Sam. So it's a really, really important thing. And obviously gives you a chance to make a big impact in your local community as well. Some drawbacks though, we have to be aware that there's some administration that's involved with doing some of these things. So we got to be aware of what that is and who can do it and if there's costs for it. It does obviously reduce our personal liquidity if we're doing it. So we got to make sure we're good financial planning wise anyways with our own assets. So we have enough income, we have enough assets in case we have long-term care or if something happens. And if we have excess, then that's where we start looking at something like this. And of course, be aware, there is some loss of control when you have an irrevocable gift. Putting money into donor advised funds, for example, once that's out of our name and that in that donor advised funds, it's no longer our money. It's been donated, so we have to be aware of that. Some case study examples. There's John and Sarah. They have an annual income exceeding expenses by $20,000. They have no debts. They've done a good job. They have some funds set aside for long-term care already. They have a fully funded emergency fund. So what their goal was is then we're going to take $15,000 annually and fund 529 plans, education plans for those 3 grandchildren. They're also going to give $10,000 annually in QCDs to their church and $100,000 to establish a donor advised fund for wildlife conservation, something that's really important for them. Going back to the church thing too, a lot of people do tithing. Oftentimes they'll just write a check or drop money in the hat as it goes by. And that's great, but there's no tax really there's no tax advantage to doing that. So I was actually talking to a couple the other night and I said, how much do you usually give? And they kind of told me, I said, if you do this a little bit differently, at end of the year, beginning of the year as a lump sum, that's where we could then donate part of your RMD as part of a QCD and actually be able to give more and actually lower your taxes too, which you're like, wow, I didn't even know that. So much better than just writing it from the checkbook. Some action steps if we're looking at gifting, make sure we evaluate our goals, trying to lower taxes, support family, leave a legacy. Make sure you're always working with a financial planner when you're going to do these things, because you want to make sure that you think about all the different possible scenarios and tax situations and making sure that you have enough for different things that come up in retirement as well. Start small. You can always get bigger with this, but start small with some annual gifts or doing a donor advised fund, and then we can always do bigger. Document your plan so that you can actually show other people what you're trying to do, your family members. Ensure your gifting aligns with your estate planning as well. Your estate planning may spell this stuff out. It might say, hey, we're going to have this go to here and this go to this family, and make sure that those are all in alignment, because if this is what you're trying to do over here but it hasn't been updated in your estate plan, those are going to be conflicting. So make sure that you have those in concert with each other. So again, a quick look at some things we can think about when we're trying to lower taxes and give with what aligns with our heart. If you want to dive in deeper, we have this resource called Gifting on Purpose for Purpose resource. It's a complimentary guide that we have created for you. They're going to drop the link in the show notes right now if you want to get that resource and look it over. Maybe it's a fun thing to read over the Christmas break and kind of think about some things as you're getting into retirement more and thinking about these things. Make sure to grab that. If you're wondering about how some of these things work in more detail, which obviously I went through these kind of fast because so we could probably spend an hour on each of them. If you want to know more, reach out to us and we can kind of explain them and explain why you would do them and how they would work in a little bit more detail. And so again, hopefully that was helpful to kind of give you a quick look at some of these things that we can think about when it comes to gifting strategies, with the idea that we're going to lower taxes and we're going to be giving to either the family members or friends or whomever we want, and also the charities that we want to help too, that leave that lasting impact. Again, we are under 7 days. We're going to take a quick holiday break. Our staff is going to take some time to take a break. So we're going to come back in the new year. So catch us in 2025, which I can't believe we're that close to the new year already, but catch us in 2025. But again, we'll let you know